Hey everybody, happy Valentine's Day. Thrifty Teresa coming to you here live from Seattle. I wanted to do another quick video. I'm just actually about to run out the door to ship off a couple great things that just sold today. Happy Valentine's Day to me. Sales have been crap, and then all of a sudden I got two fantastic sales. So I'll tell you about those next week when I do my weekly sales report. But what I wanted to do was address a question that was submitted. Chuck Webb 66 is one of my viewers. Hi Chuck, thank you so much for watching and commenting. He asked three fantastic questions, and I am going to address each of those individually because they are all three great questions, and I don't want to make this video too long. So I'm just going to do one question today, and we'll do more later. The first question Chuck had was, he's wanting to know if it's difficult to handle multiple Etsy shops. He has an Etsy store as well as an eBay store, and he was thinking about opening another Etsy shop. His first Etsy shop, from what I can tell, is a specific type of item, and then he wants to open a second Etsy shop, which would be a more general vintage reselling type store. Go for it. There is absolutely no difference in managing two Etsy shops as there is in the fact that you've already got an eBay store and an Etsy store. You're already managing two shops. They're just on two separate platforms. Adding a second Etsy shop, which would now give you three shops, is not going to be a gigantic deal. The only thing that is slightly annoying is on Etsy you would have to have another username and another password, or you use the same password, whatever. But you have to have two accounts. So there's logging in and logging off of Etsy when you need to switch between accounts. I can imagine that might be a little annoying if you're processing sales, you know, creating shipping labels and stuff, needing to log in and log out of the multiple accounts. But not a big deal. One of the reasons a lot of people have multiple shops is specifically kind of like what Chuck is talking about, is that he's got one store that is about a certain type of item. In that case, I believe it was some antique type toys, or, you know, vintagey toys. And I can understand why people might want to keep certain categories separated. For example, I was researching some old sewing patterns that I came across at the thrift store, and I found some people selling them on Etsy, and I noticed this one user in particular. She has, all she does is sell sewing patterns, but she has multiple shops because she has such a huge inventory that her sewing patterns, she has put them into separate categories. So she's got one that's just for children's sewing patterns. She's got one that's just for like 50s type clothing or patterns that come from the 50s and 60s. And then she has another store for patterns from the 80s, and then patterns from the 90s, patterns for houseware type items, couch cushions and pillows and throws and stuff like that. She's got lots of separate stores, but she's still selling one type of item. But like I said, her inventory is so massive, it's probably in her best interest to have those stores separated. Because if somebody is looking for a sewing pattern from the 1950s and they come across a store that has 1,000 items in it, but they're not all in the same genre, that person may, you know, start searching somewhere else. But if she's got her store just for the sewing patterns from the 50s and 60s, that customer now has a huge inventory to look through, and it's all her inventory, and that customer is more likely to buy from her. So that is a fantastic reason to have things separated. Right now, on my Etsy store that's for the vintage items, I have everything mishmashed. I sell toys, I sell housewares, I sell accessories, you know, scarves and necklaces and whatever. And I've also got some craft supplies and stuff on there too. If my inventory becomes too much for me to handle, or not necessarily handle, but you understand what I mean. If my inventory becomes so big that my store becomes cluttered, I will absolutely be creating a third Etsy account and maybe move one of those items somewhere else, put my craft supplies somewhere else that doesn't mess with my vintage stuff, my vintage housewares and toys. If my toys become the focus of my store, I may then move all my miscellaneous stuff somewhere else. I will absolutely create as many stores as necessary to make them nice and pretty. And also, so like I said, if a customer is looking for a certain type of thing, your inventory will then reflect the type of thing that they're looking for. So they're more likely to browse your store and buy from you rather than just seeing one or two things and then skipping to the next store. So yes, have multiple Etsy accounts. There is no problem doing that other than logging in and logging out. You can save your passwords on your computer, so it's just a couple clicks of the button. It's easy breezy to do that. There is some stuff about promoting your Etsy shop and getting your Etsy shop out there and more visible that I talked about in my previous video. I don't want to touch on too much of that marketing stuff right now. I can talk about that more later. Having multiple Etsy shops may require you to need to do a little more work as far as marketing and getting your store and your brand and your items out there, but I don't think it's that hard. I've got 2 stores right now. I will not hesitate to create a 3rd store or a 4th store or as many stores as I can handle. You're already doing it. That's, I guess, my main point. Right now, Chuck, you are already an eBay seller and an Etsy seller. You already have 2 stores. If you are managing both of those stores well, give yourself a 3rd one. Just go for it. The sky's the limit. And it's up to you how much you can handle, but I think you can do it. So thank you, Chuck, again for your question. Thank you for everybody who's been leaving questions and comments. If you have a question for me that you would like me to address either about Etsy, eBay, or Amazon FBA, leave a comment down below and I will create a future video to address those questions. Thanks for watching. Have a great weekend, everybody. Bye.